All Might is the pillar of justice in My Hero Academia. Since his existence, crime has almost been non-existent in Japan. He's the shining example for nearly all new up-and-coming heroes. But things are starting to change for him, and today we're going to discuss what has happened and what I think will happen to him in the future. As always, this video may contain spoilers for anyone not caught up with the story. So with that out of the way, I'm Little One 2, and this is the intro. Today, I got another theory for you guys. Last week we discussed how Deku was related to the UA Traitor, but this week we're discussing All Might. If you didn't catch the last theory, head on over and check it out now. Before I dive in, one last warning about spoilers for those not caught up with everything in the story and the movies. With that out of the way, let's get started. First, let's discuss the elephant in the room. What is the fate of All Might? If you've paid attention, you know it's not a great retirement. Since the start of the story, there's been hints and clues that point to All Might not surviving the series. Even if you weren't paying attention to the clues, Night Eye straight up says he saw into the future and he pictured All Might being brutally murdered if he didn't quit. And up until recently, Night Eye's predictions have always been correct. So, to cut to the chase, he's going to die. The question is, when and how? All Might reveals to Deku that his death is predicted to happen sometime within the next year to 2 years. So, like, literally any day now. With all the current events happening in the manga, I'm willing to bet that it's definitely sooner rather than later. When Shigaraki is finally free from his procedure, it's probably a good bet, but if not right then, it most likely will happen shortly afterward. In the manga, that appears to be very soon. It's possible that it will come later when All For One escapes from prison, but that's another theory for another day. So now that we've narrowed the time frame down, the next question is, how? This one is a little more tricky, but I have an idea that I think will serve his character well. In fact, let me set it up for you. Imagine All For One is loose. Shigaraki is powered up to be his replacement. And then they attack the heroes, possibly at the UA. This much I do expect, but where is honestly not that important. So I'm going to lay this out in very broad strokes to start so we can get the idea across, then I'll say how I think it will eventually happen. So, broad strokes. All Might will die because he will do what he thinks a true hero must do. Several times throughout the series he has referenced this, and I believe it will come into play when he ultimately dies. In general, he says similar things over and over. For instance, the one that sticks in my head is the following: when there's nothing to be gained, rising to the challenge at those times is surely the mark of a true hero. When he sends Deku his acceptance message, he says, "You committed to save someone no matter the risk to yourself." He's telling us, the audience, how he will die, and I think most people would agree those are truly heroic traits. But he also says the unfortunate truth is, to fight evil, you need a quirk. So what is this adding up to? In the manga, All Might is facing a minor crisis that he feels there's not much left he can teach Deku. Deku is starting to do more with the quirk than he ever imagined possible. All Might is basically quirkless, albeit he is able to transform very briefly. In the Heroes Rising movie, it is also revealed that the past users decide who can and can't use their power. So where am I going with this? All Might will die saving Deku from Shigaraki by pushing beyond one last time. The transformation will destroy what's left of his body, but he will be successful. He might even survive the actual encounter, but the toll on his body will basically cause him to implode. The catch will be he basically will do it to feel useful one last time because all he ever knew was he was meant to be the pillar of justice. He will die in front of Bakugo and Deku, making them question if they were at fault for his death, but at the same time reinforcing why it's important they become stronger. All Might will die doing what he has always done, pushing himself to save others that did not ask him to do so. The irony will be he won't be killed by a villain, but by the act of him using his quirk one last time. This will have other ripples that go into more theories that I'll eventually cover in future videos, but I believe this is how All Might will die. The vestiges of One for All influence a lot, and every time All Might's back has been against the wall, he has asked for more power and he has received it. Yes, his quirk is spent, but he's still able to transform after the fact, which in my eyes proves that there's at least something left in him. After his fight with All for One, All Might can be seen several times wearing his Silver Age suit, grasping to what he thought made him who he was. He has always had an uncanny ability to adapt and persevere. This is talked about by Gran Torino when he mentions that All Might was able to use One for All almost immediately. That is his gift and his curse. To fight evil with a smile. It's all he's ever known. It's all he's been able to teach. It's the only thing he can do. When he ultimately falls, it'll be with one last smile. Well, that's my theory. Do you agree with me? If so, give me a like. If not, go ahead, give me a thumbs down. In any case, if you like my outlandish theories, give me a subscribe, and then leave me a comment down below with ideas for future videos, and I'll be back next week with another theory for you guys. Until then, be safe and have fun.